And rower John Beeden is with me now from his home in Burlington, safely home on dry land. You don't still feel the urgency to go back and forth like that, do you? As though you're on the water?
Absolutely not. No, it's good to be. It's good to be on a stable surface.
Take me back. Why did you embark on this very long, very impressive journey?
I rode across the Atlantic three and a half years ago, and I thought that was going to be an adventure of a lifetime, push me right to the edge and test my resilience and reserves. And while it was a difficult challenge, and each day was hard work, I kind of got to the end of that saying, I kind of feel like I can do a little bit more. And I got back and got lots of plaudits and accolades, and people were very nice about the challenge. But I felt a little bit of a fraud, if I'm honest, because it wasn't quite as hard as everybody imagines it would be. So I went looking for something more challenging. The Pacific being 3 times as far, and this is the route I chose to do is the most difficult way to do the Pacific. It's a non-trade winds route, obviously from the northern hemisphere across the equator into the southern hemisphere and then to Australia. So it was very challenging, and all I'd say about that is be careful what you wish for, because I got a serious challenge, and it was way tougher than I ever thought it to be.
So I just want to be clear, it was just you and your boat and your provisions and your oars for 209 days? Yeah,
you have to leave fully prepared. I did actually have to take a resupply, and I diverted and rowed past Vanuatu so we could do an at-sea resupply, but that's because I was running out of food, and I'd already gone past my intended arrival date in Australia because the weather, currents, weather pushed me backwards a lot, and so I took an additional resupply. But other than that, I took absolutely everything with me. Had no assistance the entire trip, and yeah.
So what was the hardest part of this? I have to wonder. It all sounds horribly difficult.
It was all hard, and you can break it down into sections. But leaving San Francisco. Is very glamorous, rowing under the Golden Gate Bridge, and although I left at nearly midnight, but still a pretty cool thing to do. But getting away from that coast is really, really challenging. There's quite a shallow shelf off that part of the coast, and it creates strange currents. There's a big onshore breeze every day created by the huge landmass and the heat. And then trying to get down around Hawaii, not using the trade winds, because I needed to get south, was challenging. And then crossing there's a 1,200-mile stretch in the middle, which is called the ITCZ, the Intertropical Convergence Zone. And it's the equator, the equatorial countercurrent, the doldrums, and that is so difficult. The currents are all over the place. The wind comes from the wrong direction all the time. It's where all the storm clouds that don't know where to go on the planet, and it's just a weird place to be and a weird place to row, but massively challenging.
So I mean, you did this and you slept as well. So when you slept, didn't you give back some of the ground some of the water that you picked up?
So you do a trade winds route, which is why I mentioned that. Typically, what happens is that you drift in the right direction because the conditions are going your way. With this, every time you stopped, if you stopped to fill up a water bottle, stopped to visit the head, any time you stopped, you went backwards nearly. Mentally, it's the toughest thing in the whole trip was to accept the fact that you were going to have to re-row. I rewrote hundreds of miles, especially in that 1,200-mile chunk in the middle.
Well, you've got to be one of the fittest, if not the fittest person on earth after that long run. Now, what do you see as next for you?
Well, I did this purely as a personal challenge, and after the Atlantic, I was looking for more of a challenge, and I found that, I guess. And at the moment, I feel no compulsion. When I finished the Atlantic, I knew straight away that I was looking for something else. At the moment, I feel like I've proved to myself that I'm capable of doing whatever it is I was trying to prove to myself, and I don't feel any need to go out there and do anything else. I'm not saying I won't, but at the moment, I need to repay my debts to my family, and being away for 7 months. Probably the most difficult thing from loved ones, and need to earn some money to pay off all my debts, and have a summer at the cottage maybe.
Well, that's a remarkable adventure. Thank you so much, John Beeden in Burlington tonight.
You're welcome. Take care.